just tell him I rose up. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will rise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my official Premier League table prediction for the upcoming 2025-26 season. It is time for me to predict my final table predictions of the week. Before we get into predictions, guys, please be sure to drop a like on this video and also subscribe to this channel. We are now 3 away from 250 subscribers, so please do hit the subscribe button. It does really help. It does mean a lot to me. And yeah, let's get straight into the predictions, shall we? Okay, so kicking off with the 3 teams I've got going down to the Championship, getting relegated. In 20th place, I've got Burnley. In 19th place, I've got Brentford. And in 18th place, I've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, kicking things off with Burnley then. So last season, Burnley did very, very good in the Championship. They finished second, the runners-up of the Championship. And their defensive record was really, really good. I think their defensive record really kept them up there because they didn't concede more than 20 goals last season, which is very impressive considering how competitive the Championship is. However, next season, the Premier League is a whole different kettle of fish. You know, you're dealing with the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, all difficult teams like that. Now, I'm not saying that they aren't beatable. They are. But I just feel like it's going to be a very difficult season for Burnley next season. They've made a few good signings. So, you know, they've signed all the loan players that they had last season on permanent deals now. So they've brought in the likes of Jadon Anthony, Marcus Edwards, Zian Fleming, and they've also brought in the likes of Kyle Walker as well, which is very, very impressive. Very interesting signing, that one. Now, people will say, oh, Kyle Walker isn't as fast as he used to be. Well, you are correct, but Kyle Walker still has a lot of experience, a lot of pace in that team. So he could do well for Burnley. However, I just have a feeling that it's not going to be enough for next season. I'm sorry, Burnley. I've got you to finish bottom. If you're a Burnley fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I've got you to finish 20th. Very sorry. Moving on to Brentford, I've got a 19th now. Brentford, I feel like, could struggle next season. You know, last season I hugely underestimated them. You know, I put them in the bottom 3 last season because I thought they'd do some Buemo, Thomas Frank, Wissa, and Ivan Toney in one window, which they didn't. You know, they only lost Ivan Toney and they managed to do really well and finish 10th, not 18th or wherever I had them to finish last season. But this time round, they have struggled when it comes to the transfer window. They've lost lots of Thomas Frank. He's gone to Spurs. Thomas Frank was a key asset to Brentford when they got promoted. He was very, very key for them. So it's going to be difficult to see how Keith Andrews does with Brentford now because he hasn't got a lot of experience in the Premier League. He used to be a coach under Thomas Frank, but they've now bumped him up to be the full manager of Brentford, which is going to be very interesting. They've lost the likes of Buemo to Man United. Obviously, they don't have Ivan Toney. It's all about, can they keep Wissa? You know, they've lost the likes of Norgard to Arsenal as well. They've still got the likes of Damsgaard, Jensen, Shard, and I think they'll do quite well for them. However, I just have a feeling, again, it's not going to be enough. I feel like Brentford could be in trouble next season. So yeah, I've got Brentford to go down in 19th place. Sorry, Brentford fans. Okay, moving on to the final team that I've got relegated. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers in 18th place. Now, with Wolves, I just have a feeling that they could struggle next season. Last season, they did have a very, very slow start in the relegation spot with us, but they managed to put away with it with signing in the manager, Vitor Pereira. I think he did quite well with Wolves. Despite being in like 17th for pretty much the whole season, they did end up pulling away from it with the final 3-4 games of the season. However, they have lost Cunha to Man United. Can they replace him? We don't know yet. Wolves could stay up, however, I just feel like their time in the Premier League is slowly coming to an end, possibly if they're not careful, and I feel like it could be next season. So I'm sorry, Wolves fans. I do like Wolves. I think they're a good club. However, I do think they're going to go down next season. So yeah, 18th place for Wolves for me. What do you guys think on that one? Now then, moving on to the three teams that I've got just surviving the drop. In 17th place, I've got Leeds United. In 16th place, I've got Sunderland. And in 15th place, I've got West Ham United. Starting out with 17th place, Leeds United. Now, I think they were very, very good last season in Championship. You know, them being the winners of the Championship, winning the league, I think it shows everything that they did last season. They were very, very good last season. Like, unbelievably good. Very, very strong going forwards, good defensively, and I feel like if they keep that going into next season in the Premier League and they have a good crack at it, then I feel like they could be okay. They've got some good signings, you know, like Sean Longstaff from Newcastle and Sam Greenwood is an interesting one from Preston. I think those two could be really good for them next season. And again, if Daniel Farke can prove himself in the Premier League, because he didn't do well at Norwich when he was there. If he could do well in the Premier League, then maybe Leeds could be okay. And I feel like their home form at Ellen Road should be the main target to try and get that one a fortress. And yeah, I feel like they could be okay next season. So yeah, Leeds are staying up for me. What do you guys think on that one? Moving on to 16th place then, I've got Sunderland, the winners of the Championship playoffs. Now, some of you might have predicted me to have Sunderland in the bottom three, and I probably would have if they didn't have the transfer that they have now. Their transfer business has been absolutely incredible. They've probably been the busiest out of all the three teams coming up, and rightly so. You know, if you've just won the Championship playoffs and you haven't been in the Premier League for a while and you want to try and keep up with the Premier League that is at now, then you have to be quite active in the transfer window and try and make every signing correct. And three of them have been quite good so far in the transfer window. So likes of Simon Adingra from Brighton, that's a very good signing. Likes of Enzo Lefebvre has now been signed as on a permanent deal. And you've also got the likes of Granit Xhaka. How did they get that one over the line from Bayer Leverkusen? I remember him from when he was at Arsenal, being a very good Arsenal player. How did they get that one out over the line? God knows, but I think that's a very good signing. And I feel like if they all click, Sunderland could be a bit of an underdog next season. And I think they could very well stay up if they get everything correct. So yeah, Sunderland are staying up for me in 16th place. What do you guys think on that one? In 15th place, I've got West Ham United. Now, I feel like they could be okay next season. Last season, West Ham did struggle quite a bit, and it was strange, wasn't it? Because they had a very, very good transfer window, but it just seemed as though the players just didn't click properly, did they? They didn't perform as well as we thought they'd do, because a lot of us football fans had West Ham to finish quite high last season, and unfortunately for them, they didn't really do that, did they? They were really struggling last season. But this time around, I feel like they're going to have a similar sort of season, but still be okay. You know, they've got two key signings here. One of them being Kyle Walker-Peters from Southampton. You guys are going to absolutely love him. He's a very, very good quality right back. He can also play left back as well, but his main position is right back. And I feel like you guys are going to be loving Kyle Walker-Peters. He's very, very good. Very underrated in my opinion when it comes to all the right backs in that league. And you've also got Todibo coming back to West Ham on a permanent deal as well, which is very, very good for West Ham. At least they got two in the door. A couple of weeks ago, they didn't really have anyone coming in the door, did they, apart from their academy players? But this time, I feel like they're going to be okay. You know, they could be in a relegation scrap, but I feel like they're going to be okay. I feel like they're going to be around mid-table pretty much the whole season. And yeah, West Ham are going to be okay for me. 15th place for them. Right then, moving on to the three teams that I've got surviving a bit more comfortably. In 14th place, I've got Fulham. In 13th place, I've got Crystal Palace. And in 12th place, I've got AFC Bournemouth. Starting out with Fulham in 14th then. Now, next season, I feel like they're just going to have a solid season like they normally do, like they have been in the Premier League so far. They've made 2 signings. They've recruited Luke Harris from his loan spell at Birmingham. They've brought him back. And they've also brought in Leconte. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but they brought him in from Montpellier. 2 okay signings. I don't think they're going to be. No, they're going to do too much to the squad. But I feel like Fulham are going to have a solid season and finish around mid-table. So yeah, 14th for Fulham for me. What do you guys think on that one? Moving on to 13th place, I've got Crystal Palace. Now, last season they also had a slow start, starting in a relegation scrap. But knowing Oliver Glasner, you just knew that they'd get out of it, didn't you? Crystal Palace performed very, very well last season, became the FA Cup winners, so congratulations, Crystal Palace, going into, should have been the Europa League, but they did get knocked down to the Conference League. I feel like it's their first European competition in God knows how long, so yeah, massive good luck to Crystal Palace. And I've got them this low mainly because of that European competition that they've got next season. We don't know how well they're going to do in the European competition, so it could take it out of the players. They have made 2 good signings in Benitez and Sosa, 2 good additions to the squad, but I still think they're going to be quite solid next season under Glasner. And yeah, good luck, Crystal Palace. I've got you to finish in 13th place, mid-table, doing okay. Moving on to 12th place then, I've got Bournemouth. Now, I feel like they're going to be very solid next season again. Last season, they had an absolutely tremendous season. Very, very good from them, Lots of really, really good results in them from a club like Bournemouth. One of them being a 4-1 win away at Newcastle, which Newcastle is a very difficult place to go and get a result. And Bournemouth did that with ease. And yeah, fair play to Bournemouth. I quite like Bournemouth. Some Bournemouth fans tend to think that us and Bournemouth are a rivalry. I don't think we are. I quite like Bournemouth. I'm glad they're doing okay. They have made a good signing in Petrovic from Chelsea, and they have lost a few key players such as Kirkes to Liverpool and Jadon Anthony going to Burnley. However, I don't think that will distract Bournemouth at all. I think Bournemouth will be okay. So yeah, 12th place for Bournemouth for me. Okay, moving on to the 4 teams that I've got just missing out on Europe. In 11th place, I've got Everton. In 10th place, I've got Brighton and Hove Albion. In 9th place, I've got Nottingham Forest. And in 8th place, I've got Manchester United. Starting with Everton in 11th then. Last season, they started the season quite slowly under Sean Dyche. Halfway through the season, they sacked Sean Dyche and brought in David Moyes back to Everton. And from that moment, Everton started to fly up the table pretty much. They were in around a relegation scrap for a few months, and then when David Moyes came in, they looked nowhere near a relegation scrap. They only looked up to the table. I think from now, the only way Everton can go now is up. And I think they are on the up at the moment. They've made some good signings in Charlie Alcaraz and also Mark Travers, a good goalkeeper from Bournemouth. They made some other good signings, but I feel like Everton are going to have a very solid season next season under David Moyes. I think they're going to do really well. So yeah, 11th place for Everton for me. What do you guys think on that one? Moving on to Brighton in 10th place then. So Brighton have lost a few key players, but they still got the likes of Daniel Welbeck, Matoma. They've lost Simon Adingra to Sunderland, but they still have quite a few good key players. Last season they did okay. They were still in around the top 10 pretty much throughout the whole season. But the reason why I didn't really make any Euro was because a lot of their results were draws. And obviously if you're draw heavy, then you're not really going to place as high as you want to be, are you? But I feel like Brighton are going to be another solid outfit yet again next season. I feel like they're going to be very, very strong in around the European race. And yeah, I feel like Brighton are going to have a very good season. So yeah, 10th place for Brighton for me. Moving on to 9th place, Nottingham Forest. I feel like they're going to have a good season again. Last season, they blew us all away. I don't think any of us expected them to have a good season like they did. And I don't think their fans really expected that sort of season either. They were in race for Champions League for pretty much the whole season. Their performances did sort of fall away, and they did fall down the table a little bit. They have made some good signings. They have lost the likes of Alanga to Newcastle, but they still have a lot of good assets there, such as Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs White has signed a new contract for them. They've still got the likes of Chris Wood, Murillo. They've still got Ola Aina, and I feel like they're going to be very good for Nottingham Forest. I feel like them being in Europe might slow the players down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to slow them down too much. I feel like they're still going to be a strong team next season again. And yeah, massive good luck in the Europa League to Nottingham Forest. I'm wishing them well, and I feel like I'm going to back them to win it as well. I really hope they do. So yeah, massive good luck to Nottingham Forest, and yeah, ninth place for you guys for me. Okay, and my final team just missing out on Europe. I've got Manchester United in 8th place. Now, I think this one is pretty understandable as well. I think Manchester United could be better next season. You know, they've brought in the likes of Cunha and Embuemo, who I think will be very, very good players for them next season. They have had a very, very good pre-season, you know, beating Bournemouth 4-1, beating West Ham as well. But people will say it's only pre-season, but pre-season matches do help you to work out how your team's going to set up next season, even though it's for like fresh legs, working on your fitness. I do think those sort of results in pre-season will, you know, boost your players' confidence a bit. So I feel like Manchester United might be okay next season. I don't think they're going to get Europe. I don't think they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to be that good next season. You know, last season they had probably the worst Premier League season that they've ever had. You know, 16th for a club of that side and club of their standards, I think it's very poor from them. But next season, I think they're going to go up the table and be a lot better. So yeah, 8th place for Man United for me. What do you guys think on that one? Okay, moving on to the 3 teams that I've got just making Europe. In 7th place and making the Europa Conference League, I've got Tottenham Hotspur. In 6th place, I've got Aston Villa, and 5th place, I've got Newcastle United, my 2 teams making Europa League. Starting out with the winners of the Europa League last season, Tottenham Hotspur in 7th, their first trophy in over 18 years. That is very, very good for them, so well done, Tottenham. I feel like their signings have been quite good so far. You know, they've appointed Thomas Frank as a new manager. Maybe sacking Postecoglou was a bit harsh, considering he did get you a trophy. But I think Thomas Frank will be quite good for Tottenham next season. I like some of their signings. I think their signings have been quite good. They have lost a few key players though, but I still think Tottenham will be okay next season. I feel like they're not going to have as bad of a season that they did last season, and I feel like, yeah, good luck in the Champions League, Tottenham. Yeah, 7th place for you guys for me. Moving on to 6th place, I've got Aston Villa making Europa League. I feel like Aston Villa will have a good season next season. They have been quite quiet in the transfer window. They haven't really been that active. But last season, they had a good season under Unai Emery. Unai Emery is a very, very good manager. And I feel like at the moment, he is bringing out the best in Aston Villa, and in a good way. Very, very good from him as well. They had very good results last season. You know, they beat the likes of Man City, had good games against Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And I feel like Aston Villa are going to be the same again next season. I feel like they're going to make Europa League again and go quite far next season in the Europa League that they're currently in. And yeah, I feel like Aston Villa are going to be very good. So yeah, 6th place for Aston Villa for me. Right then, moving on to Newcastle that I've got in 5th. I feel like Newcastle will have a good season again next season. They are currently having a real unlucky transfer window, aren't they? Every single player that they're looking at gets taken from them. Literally, especially Liverpool. You know, they were looking at Hugo Ekitike, got taken from them, went to Liverpool. They're possibly losing Isak to Liverpool as well, potentially. And now they are currently in a battle to get Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig, but they're currently in a battle with Man United. Can you imagine if Sesko goes to Man United? That means they've had 3 people that they've been looking at get stolen from them. That is so unlucky. However, they do still have very good players in Anthony Gordon, Bruno G. They still got the likes of Botman, Cher. Still lots of good quality players in there, and I feel like Newcastle could have a very good season next season. And yeah, finishing 5th. So yeah, 5th place for Newcastle for me. What do you guys think on that one? And finally, moving on to my top 4 then. In fourth place, I've got Chelsea. In third place, I've got Arsenal. In second place, I've got Manchester City. And my title winners in first place, I've got Liverpool. Starting things off with Chelsea in fourth. Now, next season, I think they're going to be very, very strong. Over the past few seasons, they have massively improved and are trying to get back to their best. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before they do. They've brought in the likes of João Pedro, Gittins, and Liam Delap. Those three are very good players, very good signings right there. They have, however, lost the likes of João Felix, Petrovic, but I don't think they really need those two players. They've still got a lot of quality in that squad. They've still got the likes of Cole Palmer, Caicedo's still there, Enzo Fernandez, still got the likes of Pedro Neto as well. Lots of good players that I think will still be very good for Chelsea. They have won the Club World Cup, so congratulations to Chelsea. That's a very, very good achievement right there. And they've also become the first team ever to win all of the European Cups. So yeah, congratulations Chelsea. Very, very good achievements those. And yeah, I feel like Chelsea are going to be very good next season. Fourth place for them. Okay, moving on to third place, I've got Arsenal. Now, last season I did have Arsenal to win the league, and they let me down. Arsenal, how dare you? But yeah, that's alright. They got second again. They're always so close, Arsenal, aren't they? Second again. I feel like this is the third season in a row where they got second. Very, very unfortunate for Arsenal. I feel like at some point they are going to do it. They are going to get that Premier League win. They have made some good signings. They've made the signings of Madueke, they've made the signing of Zubamendi, and they've also finally got the striker that they've wanted, which is Victor Gyökeres. I think he's going to do very well for Arsenal. However, is it going to be enough for Arsenal to win the league? I don't know, because you've still got the likes of Liverpool and Man City who have also improved. And I feel like Arsenal might fall short again. I'm sorry, Arsenal. I do like Arsenal. I think they're a good club. However, I do have you just falling short of the title. So yeah, third place for Arsenal for me. What do you guys think, Arsenal fans? Now moving on to second place and my runners-up, I've got Manchester City. I feel like they are going to possibly be back next season and be very good again. They've made lots of good signings such as Cherky, Aït-Nouri. They made a signing of Trafford, Reinders. They've made 4 very good signings there. And it just felt as though when they knew Kevin De Bruyne was leaving, they automatically knew, right, we have to replace him now. And I think surely they have now, right? Surely Manchester City have now made good signings and are possibly going to be back next season. They've still got the likes of Haaland, Rodri if he's fit. He's still got the likes of Bernardo Silva, who's okay, Phil Foden. He's still got that massive, good squad right there. And I feel like Man City are going to have no problems in being back next season. So yeah, second place for Manchester City for me. What do you guys think on that one? Now moving on to my title winners, I've got Liverpool to win the Premier League back to back. Now this season in the transfer window, they have been incredible, like honestly incredible. The signings that they've made have made it look like they are actually serious about going for the title again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. The likes of Frimpong, Kirkes, Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, lots of good signings there, and it looks like they might get Isak as well if they get the budget correct and Newcastle agree to it. And yeah, I see no hopes when it comes to facing Liverpool next season. I feel like Liverpool are beatable. Every single club is beatable, but I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult to beat Liverpool next season. You're going to have to be on your A game if you want to beat Liverpool next season. Along those signings, you still got the likes of Salah, Van Dijk. You've got likes of Gravenberch, Soboslai, lots of really good talent in there. Yes, they've lost the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Luis Diaz, but they've recruited so well and they've replaced them very well. I see no one other than Liverpool possibly winning the Premier League next season. And yeah, massive good luck to Liverpool. I think you'll win in the league. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, guys, that wraps up my official table predictions throughout the entire week. And that also wraps up my Premier League predictions for this video. I hope you've all enjoyed. As always, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, share your thoughts and predictions down in the comments. I hope you all have a very good day, everybody. See you later.